The most important meal of the day, second breakfast.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another Second Breakfast podcast. I'm Andy Roth alongside Phil Duvall. Say hi, Phil.
Hello, nation.
And it's Monday. Happy Monday.
Yeah.
Welcome back to another fantastic week of our podcast and, your life and your job and stuff like
Whatever.
that. Right. Yeah.
Everybody's life and jobs and things like that are just the things that they do to fill up the time between podcasts that we release.
Totes. Yes. No, I'm totally.
Yes!
Yes. I am in total agreement with you. So as is our wont on Mondays, we talk about the movies that we saw over the past week. Talk about movies coming out in the upcoming week that we are excited about, and there are some, or there are at least one.
Them? Yes.
Yes, and
Before we start the timer, I have to say something
Please.
because I'm not going to be able to say it once the timer's going.
Go for it.
Not that I saw very many movies. I went to a video store this week.
Nice.
A video store. Where's my card? I have a membership card.
I love this.
I'm a member at a video store. I told my brother, he goes, you realize that they're drug dealers laundering money. And I was like, I don't care. So long as they have DVDs,
Right.
walls. Andy, here's the thing about this. We got to do a whole other podcast on this. So do you know what happened when I went into the DVD place?
Were they like, oh my god, a customer?
Basically.
Awesome.
I walked in, and it was really seedy and weird. There were other people there. It was fantastic. It was so gross. I loved it. And this isn't like it's not like a Blockbuster. Obviously, they're gone. It's not a chain. This is like a real video store.
Right.
And I walk in, and I'm looking for DVDs, and I find what I want, and then I see some movie I've never even cared about, and I was like, I want to watch that, and I grabbed it, and I was like, and then I saw some others. I was like, oh, or I could get that, and I didn't get it. But I was like, video stores.
Yeah, take that,
I
Netflix
forgot.
recommended algorithm.
I forgot that The Master was out. I
Sure.
forgot because there's no
Sure.
reason for me to know, and no one's talking about it.
Right.
But when you go to a video store and you see it, and the movies, I'm renting a DVD for $1.
No,
Blu-ray's $1.50.
Totally. Yes. Absolutely.
What?
Absolutely.
I said, how are things going? How's business? And she's like, well, we're surviving. She goes, we're surviving. And I was like, I hope so. And she said, it's not like it used to be. And I was like, I know. I wanted to say, hold on, we're bringing it back. I believe in this.
One more day.
I believe. I
Sure.
believe in it like Wilson Phillips believes in it. That's
Sure.
how.
Sure. Yeah.
So-
No. Hey, man. I would love video stores to make a comeback. Mostly
Well,
because
Do you have a membership to a video store in Durham?
I do not. I
Andy-
don't even know that there is. I'm sure there is one.
Start with the man in the mirror. I did put it up on the Yelp. Start with the man in the mirror. Ask him to change his ways, because this is no message could be any clearer, Andy. This is the way of the future. This is it. Shaman.
That is beautiful, Phil. You should set that to music.
I did, but some guy stole it.
What a jerk.
He's
Okay,
a jerk.
so
I took care of him, though. All right, so
too soon. I don't know.
Phil, low, dirty humor. All right, let's do this thing.
The one thing that I want to say, that my pre 5-minute thing from this past week, I was at a party.
Oh,
last
I'm
night.
so glad you're telling us this story.
I
Oh
was
my
at a
God,
party
I'm so
last night,
glad.
And it was a graduation party. My law school mentee graduated from Duke Law, so she asked me back to her and her husband's house for barbecue with her family, and I accepted, and it was lovely. And one of her aunts found out that I had a movie podcast because I told her I have a movie podcast. I was telling people because Kate brought it up, and so I was talking about it, and it's not like I don't like talking about myself, so there you go. And so of course the first question is, what's some of your favorite movies? And I was like,
And she asks it like she's angry,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Like, oh, really? You've got a podcast? What do you like, jerk face?
Exactly. Prove
How
to
dare
me
you?
now.
How dare you have a thing that I'll never watch and don't have to care about?
Indeed. And so I said, for the longest time, I said that one of my favorite movies, or my favorite movie was When Harry Met Sally, and she made this face. She's like, oh, and I was like, what?
Really?
Okay. And then, right. And so I was in the unenviable position of having to defend When Harry Met Sally, and then I like stopped mid-sentence. I was
That's
like,
like
well, that's not something I need to do,
that's like defending chocolate.
right?
Like just
Right? So then I said, I forget what we were talking. We were talking about teen movies, and I said, and that actually brings up another one of my favorite movies, The Breakfast Club. We're talking about John Hughes, and I don't remember why, but because everyone should always be talking about John Hughes. And
no, I don't know why we're not talking about him right now.
right? And so I said, and you know what? I love The Breakfast Club. And she goes, I hated that movie. And I was like,
How old was this lady? I have to know.
I'm going to say mid-50s. I'm going to say mid-50s to maybe mid-50s to mid-60s. And I was like, the only thing I could say was, I respectfully disagree. And do you know what she said to me? And some other friends.
First of all, that's mighty big of you, Andy Roth.
I know, right? Right. And this was the thanks I got.
Oh, God.
She turns to some of my mentees' friends who were not from law school. I think they were friends from
So
church,
angry. I'm already angry. I don't even know what she's going to say, and I'm
right?
angry.
And she goes, he's disagreeing. That's a lawyer for you. I was like, what? What? Ha? And I lost all power of speech. I was like, I can't believe that just happened. I can't believe.
I think I forget sometimes that there are people. I mean, it's not like I never meet people that obnoxious, but it's like when you're not around people that obnoxious on a regular basis, you don't think about them.
Right. Yes.
And then they show up, and you're like,
oh, you
like the time I
exist.
got in the fight with the cabbie, I was like,
Yeah.
this is a real thing that can happen? Like, what? What?
Yes.
Why is this? Why are we screaming? I mean, I'm screaming too, but why are we screaming at each other? How?
Yes.
First of all, when Harry Met Sally and Breakfast Club, even if they're not your favorites, no one hates there are two kinds of people. People who have liked these movies and people who have never seen them.
It's true.
Why do you keep looking up to the side? Is there something up there?
Yeah, I think there's a spider in my apartment.
Oh, God, I'm not. That's not.
I can't.
Now I'm scared.
I know, right? If I just start weeping uncontrollably, it means the spider came within 20 feet of me. So here's why she hated The Breakfast Club, though, and then we can move on.
She's a baby boomer, and she ruined her children, and that movie exposed the way she ruined her.
She was like I hated that movie. The next words out of her mouth, those poor parents. I was like, that's wrong-headed, and that actually makes me angry.
If I shook my head any harder, it would fall off.
Right.
So, like, that is,
Right.
You know, by the way, before you told me how old she was, I knew she was a baby boomer.
Sure.
I knew it!
Indeed. So yeah, we finally found an accord on the Princess Bride.
Oh, okay.
She had never seen Cool Hand Luke. And I'm like,
What, I mean, just...
I'm like, which is fine if it's someone our age, but if it's, I mean, come on.
I think I'm going to watch Cool Hand Luke tonight if it's on Netflix. I think I'm going to just watch... My wife has never seen it. Instead of watching everything else, I think I'm going to watch that.
It's amazing.
It's not streaming. Never mind.
Sorry.
Forget. I take it all back.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I'll buy it.
If Dropbox wouldn't take me 8,000 hours, I would upload the file from my DVD.
No, that's
not
fine.
going to happen. Okay.
No, that's stealing. Let's not steal.
It's true. Well, I would then ask you to erase it.
Destroy it. Okay, so we've now taken 10 minutes. Let's do our 5 minutes of 5 Minute Monday.
Indeed. I'm going first. Okay.
Please.
Okay.
You should always go first.
So, from here on out, folks, I'm going to hit the button, and the rest of the podcast will be around 5 minutes long. I have the timer set for 4:50 because you'll hear an old-timey car horn go, and that means we have 10 seconds left.
Right.
Okay, yeah. So, here we go. Starting the timer now.
Go.
No. The fingers, they don't work as they used to. Okay, starting the timer now. Yes. Okay, so the first movie I saw this week was the Project Melway movie, Lethal Weapon 4. Guys, tune in this Wednesday, because you're going to, I don't know, I guess Phil might do the same thing, but I know you're going to see me go totally insane. Just totally insane.
Oh, I can't wait for Wednesday.
Then I watched Wall-E, because it is that movie is a miracle. That movie is an absolute miracle. It is literally perfect.
Yes.
In every way something can be perfect. I was telling Phil before we started, I basically watched it twice because I would just rewatch a scene after seeing it because it's perfect.
You're doing the right thing, Andy.
I watched Role Models, which yet again, I mean, I know, as I've said, I know why I find that movie funny because it's funny. I don't know why I find it so, like cleansing, cathartic laughter, even though I have seen that movie 7 or 8 times now.
Interesting.
I watched The Rock because why not? Don't shake your head. That movie rules.
Okay.
It is perhaps the only legitimately good movie that Michael Bay ever made.
Maybe. We'll talk about that some other time. We'll have a whole other Michael Bay conversation.
Well, it's true. I mean, it does include unfortunate
Michael
homophobia
Bay-versation.
and no, not Michael.
A Michael Bay-versation.
No.
You know what we'll never do? You know what we're never going to do?
What's that?
We're never going to do Project Run Bay. That's never going to happen.
That's and I am appreciative of that.
Okay, continue,
and
sorry.
then no, it's fine. And then the last movie I watched, bringing my total up to 5 this week, was an indie movie that came out, a science fiction movie, although it doesn't feel necessarily a lot like a science fiction movie, called Upstream Color. I mentioned it in our 3-month preview a couple weeks ago. It is by the guy who did Primer, which is if such a movie can be realistic, is a realistic take on time travel. And Upstream Color, I said at the time, was apparently a similar thing on genetic manipulation. And that isn't quite true. I don't want to say what it is. I have already emailed Phil saying that I think everyone should watch it, and yet I can't necessarily recommend it because it's just weird. It's just weird.
You're an enigma and a contradiction of a human being.
It's true. And I'm out. Go.
I saw LW4, Lethal Weapon 4.
Indeed.
You beat me again. You saw 5 movies. I saw 4 this week. I saw
Sorry,
Lethal
man.
Weapon 4. I at the video store, the movie that I grabbed without, like, when I was like, ooh, look at the cover, without ever, was Jack Reacher. I had never cared to see Jack Reacher. I didn't want to see. And then I saw the cover, and it was on Blu-ray, and I was like, oh, Jack Reacher! And I grabbed it and watched it. It was fantastic.
Sure.
I watched Apollo 13, which
Love it.
came out the same year as Braveheart, and all I have to say is it was easily a better movie than Braveheart and could have won Best Film. And the more I watch Apollo 13, the higher it goes up in my esteem. This movie is... I think Apollo 13 is a perfect film. I actually think it's a perfectly made movie. I've never seen math be more exciting than this movie. And there's literally scenes where they're doing math, and I'm
Right,
like,
you're like, oh my God.
what's the number gonna be?
Right.
It doesn't really matter. And then
Right.
for tomorrow, we will be discussing a little film called Rec, R-E-C, a Spanish horror film called Recordar, Rec. I watched this at Andy's behest. I'm still standing, although I am, like, afraid of every corner I turn around. So, every time I turn around,
No.
that zombie's biting me right off the ground.
Nope.
All right, we'll talk about Rec tomorrow.
I'm so excited to talk about Rec with you.
I hate you, and
I know.
you're not my friend anymore, but I don't
know.
hate you as much as that lady hates The Breakfast Club. Because, let's be honest, those poor parents.
Those poor parents. Coming out this week. A little indie flick making the festival circuit called Star Trek Into Darkness.
It's going to be awesome.
Very excited.
It's already going to be great.
There are some more movies coming out that are all in limited release because no one wants to come out the same weekend as Star Trek. So I don't know when I'm getting them, but if you're in New York and LA, you're probably getting them this weekend too. Black Rock, which is written and directed by Katie Aselton, who you might know from
The
sitcom
League.
The League.
Yes.
And it's got Kate Bosworth and Lake Bell. Lake Bell, is that her name?
Yes, that is correct.
It's apparently like a
How much time do we have?
Deliverance. We're almost done.
Oh my gosh.
A thriller that looks absolutely wretched, starring Aaron Eckhart, called Erased.
Well, don't talk about it.
Yeah. 10 seconds left.
When's the Michael Shannon movie coming out?
Soon?
I want to say that.
I know.
Okay.
Soon. So that has been another 5-Minute Monday that most of it wasn't 5 minutes long, but the important stuff was. And this has been Second Breakfast. I'm Andy Roth, and that's Phil Duvall. See you again tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.
The most important meal of the day, second breakfast.